In this video, we're going to talk more about rotations. This first example says, graph the image of t, 10 and negative 1, after a rotation of 90 degrees clockwise around the origin. So the origin is this point right here, 0 and 0. So we're imagining almost, I think it's kind of nice to imagine this, like this whole thing is spinning. So notice when I did that the 10, or the yellow dot rather, ends up kind of low down here in this zone. It's going to be, that'll be like a negative 10. Then if I rotated it again, that would be a 180 degree turn, a 270 degree turn, and then back to where we started. So having done that, we can now say, okay, we remember that the yellow dot should have been here. So instead of being at point 10, it's going to be down here at negative 10 there. In terms of over, it's now going to be down there. And it was at negative 1 in terms of the y value. Now we're going to have it at negative 1 in terms of the x value. So it's going to be right there on that spot. And just to prove that to you again, I'm going to sort of turn it around. Oh yeah, that's 90 degrees, right? 90, 180, essentially a full half turn. And then 270, 360 is all the way around, back to where you started. So I hope you can see that that is rotated there. The next one would be, if I was going to do 180, it would be there. If I was going to do 270, it would be there. And then 360 all the way back, right there. Same type of example. The point T, negative 4 and 6, is rotated 180 degrees counterclockwise around the origin. What are the coordinates of the resulting point? T1. By the way, I didn't say this last time, but clockwise, hopefully you realize the clock goes in this direction. So counterclockwise is the opposite direction. Because we're going 180 degrees, it doesn't really matter, but we'll just follow that. It could be important if you're going 90 degrees counterclockwise. So notice right now, our point T is up in this quadrant. It's near the top, slightly to the left. If I turn it 90 degrees, it's down here. If I turn it another 90, so that would be 180 degrees from where we started, we notice it ends up, and this is important because this is what we're going to do, it's down in this bottom quadrant, and we see that it's over 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's down 6. So let's remember that. It's over 4, and it's down 6. I'm going to keep turning. That would be 270, all the way back to the beginning. So we said it should be over 4 and down 6. Now this should make sense because if we look at where the original is, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's negative 4 and positive 6, as you can see right here. So now our new T1 is positive 4 and negative 6. It's not a coincidence that those are inverted. Again, another example that's very similar. It says graph the image of triangle ABC after a rotation of 90 degrees clockwise around the origin. So let's just visualize that first. Right now, the triangle is down in this lower section of this quadrant. If we rotate 90 degrees clockwise, notice we now find it up, sort of close to the y-axis here. It's at, I'm going to notice that A is at 2 across and 8 positive, B 2 across and 3 positive, and C 1 across and 6 positive. So keep that in mind. Let's put it back. So I think I'm going to start with point C now, because I think that's the easiest one to see that that is at negative 6 and 1 positive. And we see this really close to the x-axis. So when we rotate the 90 degrees clockwise, it's going to be still really close to the axis, but this time the y-axis. So we had it at 6, negative 6 and 1. So now it's going to be at positive 6 and 1. So right there for C. And then it makes sense. So B is at -3 and 2. So now it's going to be 2 away from the axis. Just like it's 2 away from this axis, it's up 2. So it's going to be 2 away from here, so 2 across. And it's -3, so we're going to have it at +3 there. +3 and 2, so that's B. So that's C. And then A was at -8 and 2, so it's going to be 2 away from the axis and +8. Oops, is that right? 2 away from the axis. +8, I think. Oh yeah, that looks right. It's a bit of a funny triangle, isn't it? Okay, so that's A. So I filled in the different coordinates for the new points. You'll notice connection. Between B was at -3 and 2. B1 is at 2 and +3. A was at -8 and 2. A1 is at 2 and +8. C was at -6 and 1. C1 is at 1 and +6. And again, notice where this one is in relation to this one, our new rotated triangle. I'm just going to rotate the whole shape. So for whatever reason, the triangle doesn't go with me, but that's okay because we can see that it matches. If I get it to the right size, and that's where we saw it before. So hopefully that's pretty visual for you there. Let's see if I can get it back. This example says the point H, 3 and -1, is rotated 270 degrees clockwise around the origin. What are the coordinates of the resulting point H1? So let's visualize that. Going clockwise, remember, is this direction, the same as a clock. So this is 90. It's in the bottom left quadrant. 180, top left quadrant. 270, top right quadrant. And then back the full 360 degrees. Something you might notice is if you're going 270 degrees clockwise, that's exactly the same as going 90 degrees counterclockwise. Just a tidbit. So I noticed that it is going to be at 1 and 3. Very straightforward, which when I look at the coordinates originally, 3 and -1, I see that connection. So I said it's going to be over 1, up 3. You can see my green dot in there, which, think about it in terms of where it is in the quadrant. It's close to the axis, and it's 3 away. It's 1 away from one axis and 3 away from the other. So it's the same here, 1 away from that one, 3 away from this. And if I turn, the green dot is replaced by the yellow dot. So we know we're in the right location. So we've already said what they are, but just to really clarify, that is at 1 and 3. So down here, I'd write 1 and 3. In this last example, it's the same concept. We're looking at the point coordinates again, and this time with a shape, parallelogram type shape. Write the coordinates of the vertices after a rotation of 180 degrees clockwise around the origin. So let's have a look let's just try it first, see how it looks. So we go 90, 180. So we notice that it ends up in the top left quadrant and that it is touching the x-axis and kind of pointing in towards the y. Let's keep that in mind just to make sure we're on the right track. Turn it back. I notice now that it's on this side that it's doing a similar thing here too. It's touching the x-axis and pointing towards the y. It's almost, it's a rotation. I want to say it's a bit of a reflection, but it isn't because the shape would get messed up. But think of it as like it's pointing this way and it just keeps going round and round and round. But let's get some idea with our points here. So let's look at what C is first. Oh, it does tell us down here. If C is at 8 and 0, it would make sense that on this one, it's going to be at 0 and -8. I'm even going to write that in. Sorry, it's hard for me to write here. 0, -8. And let's find that. 0 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Faster if I'd gone back from 10, really. There's 0 and -8, so I'm going to call that C1. B is at this guy here, so it's going to be the one that's closest. Is at 5 and -4. So it's going to be at -5 and +4. Let's count over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the C is currently at 8 and 0. Oh, we already did that one, sorry. Let's do the A is currently at 5 and -9. So A is now going to be in line with B there at -5 and +9. So we already have -5. And that was -5 and 4. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That was A1, B1. And lastly, D was at 8 and -5. It's now going to be at -8 and +5. So we go -8 is here. Oh yeah, it's in line with C. And +5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that I've filled in the shape, I think it should be easy to see that this is a rotation. And unfortunately, I don't know why that green shape doesn't go with us, but that's okay because we can see that it matches just perfectly in there. Going back, notice if it had been a 90, and this is, I think, the trickiest part, is that if it just rotated 90 degrees, it'd be pointing this way. But because it went a full 180, it's like pointing vertically again. Going back to the very beginning. Line her up there. And that's that. Good luck with this section.